If you think Don Lemon is the only ridiculous person sort of out there pretending to be a journalist, well, then there's this thing called NPR, National Public Radio, and it's partially at least funded by us, the taxpayers. And you would think that if we, the people, are funding news, if we're funding journalism, that it would be impartial because it's for all of us and we're all feeding into it. That's not how it works, people. NPR had a report that basically said that Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch, who is vaccinated, but just chose not to wear a mask, that in essence he's been in a fight with Sonia Sotomayor, who's also a Supreme Court Justice, because she wants him to be wearing a mask. She, of course, is vaccinated well, but she has diabetes, so she wants him to be in a mask because, you know, whatever you want someone else to do with their health and put on their body and everything else, you know, it's now up to you. That's more important than what they want. Anyway, this story went bananas yesterday. Like, everybody was saying he's trying to kill her and it's horrible and everything else. But then, of course, it basically turned out not to be true. So even the New York Times, the failing, miserable propaganda outlet, all the news that's fit to make up, the New York Times, even they had to sort of backtrack from it. We've got some info from the New York Times. I don't get to quote them that often on this show. In an unusual joint statement on Wednesday, Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Neil Gorsuch sought to rebut reports that Justice Gorsuch's refusal to wear a mask at Supreme Court arguments has created a tension between them. Reporting that Justice Sotomayor asked Justice Gorsuch to wear a mask surprised us, the statement said. It is false. While we may sometimes disagree about the law, we are warm colleagues and friends. A few hours later, Chief Justice John Roberts issued his own statement. I did not request Justice Gorsuch or any other justice to wear a mask on the bench, he said. Since the justices returned this month from their holiday break, all of them started to wear masks in the courtroom except Justice Gorsuch. And now what you might find interesting about this, you're not going to believe this, guys. This one, are you sitting? If you're standing while you're watching this, you need to sit right now because cable news, the pundits, what did they do with this story? Well, take a look.
Anti-mask insanity has now reached the highest court in the land.
Neil Gorsuch is prioritizing his right to be a tool over protecting Sonia Sotomayor's life.
Gorsuch loves COVID, which makes him the perfect Republican. He thinks very little of coronavirus precautions.
Gorsuch has the nerve to refuse to wear a mask indoors while seated next to his colleague who's vulnerable to possible death from a highly communicable disease. Where's the collegiality? Where's the common sense?
That just seems ridiculous. Can you put a mask on to be polite?
What kind of workplace is this?
It's not hard.
Justice Gorsuch had to know that this would become a public controversy. And so I think he did this as a branding opportunity.
What's up with Justice Gorsuch? If all of the other, including all of the other conservative members of the court, are willing to go along with this, why not him?
Every other justice is masking up, even Clarence Thomas, who doesn't seem to care about anybody. But nope. Not Gorsuch. He could not be bothered to extend a life-saving courtesy to his coworker.
It not only displays a lack of basic civility as a coworker, but also a lack of humanity.
While Gorsuch's behavior here is pretty disgraceful, I guess it shouldn't be that surprising.
A prickly justice, not exactly beloved even by his conservative soulmates on the court.
Confirmation of what we all already knew. Whatever you think about masks, Gorsuch, who sits next to Sotomayor at work, just decided to be a dick to a colleague.
Neil Gorsuch, shame on you. Shame on you.
I mean, those are all horrible people. They are propagandists and liars. The story turned out to be false. But it's one of those stories where even when you start hearing about it, I was in the middle of a lot of stuff yesterday, unpacking and everything else. But as I saw it coming across Twitter, it was like, this doesn't even ring as true. But they all use it for their political purposes. So I get it. Joy Reid should just be put in a mental institution in a padded cell. Like, she should be studied, truly. But the rest of these people, yes, he really wants to kill her. And also, if the vaccines work and he's vaccinated, Gorsuch, and she's vaccinated, Sotomayor, and she's wearing a mask, why would he also have to wear a mask? And these liars, and that's all that they are, it's like they're in studios not wearing masks. They have coworkers who might have diabetes, who might be fat, who might have a whole bunch of other stuff going on. Do you think they care? And do you think they wear masks when they're at restaurants and breaking all the rules that they are telling you? And of course, to reference the earlier story, Don Lemon said this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, right? It's unvaccinated people causing new variants. except they're both vaccinated. So they're sitting next to each other and she's got a mask and they're both vaccinated. So what really is going on here? And just more than anything else, that they would dare say things like she wants them to die, right? That he wants her to die. Like, do you think that perhaps that's a bit over the top? But these are ridiculous people who have brainwashed millions and millions of people. And it's our job to fix this. We must fix it. We must save society. That's the plan.